Hello, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then welcome to my channel, and in today's video we are going to be talking about why you should be reading Whisper Me a Love Song by Eku Takeshima. This was a series that I found out about a year ago now. I saw the art style and I was like, I need that. And not only do I need that, but I need to read it before its anime adaptation comes out, so I started hauling, the anime crept closer to reality, and eventually I did start reading this series in January of 2024, and then I caught up officially in April of 2024, which at the time I'm filming this video means that I've read all 8 volumes that are currently out, and we are going to be talking about those volumes today with also a small section reserved for the anime because it has premiered. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Whisper Me a Love Song follows our main character Himari, who falls in love with her upperclassman Yori after hearing her band perform on the first day of school. She confesses her love and Yori confesses her love back, and then Himari realizes that they are feeling 2 different kinds of love and begins to wonder what love really means. And let's go ahead and start this off by talking about Himari. She's very high energy, adorable, wholesome, and just has a lot of love to give, of which she very much does, which we'll talk more about later. What I will say about Himari is that I didn't really get a good feel for her character until about volume 3. Like, I was enjoying her, but she was also just kind of there, and things did feel a little bit flat, but we do get a deeper dive into her and her feelings surrounding love, and eventually she really came to life for me, which was a good thing because she's probably the character that we get the most of throughout the series, and this is a series where I do feel like we get a good amount from each character. As for Yori, I loved her from the very beginning. She's more on the introverted side and a little bit awkward, yet very charming at the same time, and also just a lot of fun. She's definitely my favorite here, and I really like everyone in here. And while we're talking about these two, let's go ahead and talk about the romance, which is also what our first major arc of the story pretty much revolves around. And we are dealing with love at first sight here with like a little bit of the miscommunication trope, which are 2 things that I feel like can be very hit or miss for me, with a lot of misses in the past. And I don't know, I never really minded either of those things when it comes to this series, and it actually might be because of the initial misunderstanding. It's played more as humor, which was a little bit repetitive at times, but it's also campy. And yes, it is love at first sight, but the getting together part isn't immediate. They have to work for it because of that misunderstanding. And I really love seeing them stumble their way along here. It's cute and it's awkward, and I feel like this is a word that I'm going to be saying a lot here today in this video, but it is wholesome. And it was also really interesting to see Himari try to figure out what love really means for her romantically, because like I said earlier, she's got a lot of love to give. But I do really love these 2 together. They make my heart really happy. I feel like you also really get to see them grow more confident, both individually and also in their relationship. And there are quite a few stumbles, and they're still young and kind of insecure, but they're learning how to communicate with one another. And it is angsty at times, but it's also incredibly sweet at the end of the day. And something else I do really appreciate about this series is that these 2 are not our only sapphic characters, and they're not our only sapphic romance throughout the series. And just seeing all of the support from our characters and even our most background characters just felt really cozy and, again, wholesome. And let's go ahead and talk about some of our other characters, including Tachibana and Mari, and we are going to talk about them together because the story pretty much treats them like the duo that they are, and they have contributed to quite a few fun moments. I really do enjoy their dynamic with one another, and I feel like one day we'll dive a little bit further into them, and I am very much looking forward to that day because I do really like what we've gotten from them so far. Like, they get a lot of the bonus chapters and stuff like that, while also getting into the main story as well. And I would also say the same for Momoka and Hajime, except I do find them to be a little bit more interesting just because of what we know of their backstory and their relationship so far, and I would love to get to know them more. Next up is Aki, and when we were first introduced to her, I liked her, but then as her role in the story started to get revealed a little bit more, it just felt a little bit too tropey for me. But as things went on, I did end up really liking how this story handled her character, and I've grown to really like her, which is very nice because that was my initial reaction until things did get tropey. Aki also does have a sister who is Himari's best friend, and I feel like we haven't really gotten to see a ton of her, but she's another one that I feel like we're really going to start to see more of based on where Volume 8 left off. And finally, we do have Shiho, who I think is probably what I would consider our most complex character. I find her to be occasionally unlikable, but always incredibly interesting. And I feel like she's one of the characters that we have gotten to know the most about, and I love a good character deep dive, and she's got it. And while this story does have a ton of adorable friendships and relationships, it also does have its complex dynamics and rivalries. Which brings me to what has been our second major arc of the story, the band drama, which was something that I got very invested in very quickly once it started to get more attention. There are a lot of characters with histories with one another and complex backstories, so there are quite a few moving parts and characters like caught in the middle, and it does create conflict and drama, and it definitely does get angsty and heartbreaking at times. We're also getting to know the characters a lot better and what drives them, both when it comes to the rivalry and the drama, but also just when it comes to the music. And on that note, I really do love how this story has incorporated music into it, even beyond the band drama. Like, you can really feel each and every one of the characters' love for it, and they all do take it seriously. But the series also does showcase a contrast in between we're serious, but we're also having fun, to we're serious and you're not taking this seriously enough and you're having too much fun. And it's just been really interesting getting to see that dynamic explored as well. Music has also been utilized when it comes to the romance, of course, and again, that can range anywhere from sweet, supportive, and wholesome to complex, dramatic, and even heartbreaking. Talking about the story, let's go ahead and talk about the pacing, because I do feel like this could have been very hit or miss for me because of the love at first sight stuff, but also because there are quite a few moving parts and things to consider when we get to the band drama. And I feel like we are spending the correct amount of time in the correct places when needed, like when it comes to the characters and which storylines and backstories are getting explored and revealed. Which again, I feel like that was all really important, both when it comes for the romance and also the band drama and just the dynamics between the characters as a whole. And I loved getting to read the story develop and come together and also grow, and overall, Whisper Me a Love Song has been a series that has really grown on me. Like, it's gone from a series that I enjoy to a series that I have really fallen in love with, and again, Volume 3 was that turning point for me. And it was when they transitioned to the band drama and the festival arc that I was like, oh, so this is a series that can do more than just a cute wholesome romance. Which, just doing a cute wholesome romance on its own, I would have been fine with. But having more than that makes me even more excited for the future volumes of the series and just seeing what the series can come up with next. I also do want to talk about the art style because it is very pretty, and like I said at the beginning of this video, it's what drew me to the series in the first place, and it has never disappointed, it has only ever impressed. Like, I genuinely love and adore this art style, especially the color pages. I always get super excited when I see those because they're just stunning. As for the anime adaptation, at the time of filming this video, the first episode is currently out over on HIDIVE, which is very, very exciting, although I don't know if I was like fully mentally prepared to see these characters speak and like actually move, because as alive as they are in my head and as alive as they are on the page of the manga series, it was just a different experience. And it just felt kind of surreal. And then I will also say that I don't know if it's just because I know her better now, but I feel like Himari is really benefiting from the anime adaptation specifically, because again, I did feel like she was a little bit flat in the early chapters, but something about the adaptation has gotten rid of that when it comes to establishing her character early on, and I don't know if that's just me being like post volume 3 and 8 volumes into this series, or if it's the directing or the voice acting or some combination of just all of that, but either way, I love that for her. And I do think that they had a very campy, cute, and fun premiere. I'm excited to watch more of them, especially because we are actually going to get to hear the music now, which is so exciting. And I've really liked what I've heard and seen so far for sure. But that's the anime. Let's go back to the manga for a second for my rating. So towards the beginning of this series, I thought it was cute, I was content with what I was reading, but it did feel a little bit flat and kind of repetitive at times. And then volume 3 and the rest of the series came, and those problems went away, and I got incredibly invested in what was going on and the characters, and the series quickly became a favorite of mine. And I do tend to rate manga series as a whole as I read them rather than each individual volume, so they started out at a 4.25 out of 5 stars, and the series isn't over yet, so this rating isn't final, but for today, I will be giving the first 8 volumes of Whisper Me a Love Song by Eku Takeshima 4.75 out of 5 stars, with the potential for a future 5-star for sure. Okay, so that is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!